Hello everybody, Feliz Navidad, I'm Mark Goldbridge and welcome to the United Stand. Lots to talk about in the show. I don't believe it, I suppose. Paul Scholes absolutely rinsing Ruben Amorim and Manchester United, saying they don't take risks, he doesn't know what's going on and it's absolutely terrible. We'll talk about that. Also a bit of PR about Dalot, Manu and Xerxes stuff coming in from Fabrizio Romano as well. I've got a bit of paper. Also AFCON, what's going on with that, injuries, all the stuff just to catch up with really, because I put the preview out this morning because I'm actually just having a couple of days away at the moment because United are away on, Man United are playing on Monday. There was a big squirrel behind me and it's ran off. I was going to do a bit of nature bridge there, probably jump on my head in a minute. That's what normally happens. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe to the video. So look, basically, where am I going to come at this? I mean, look, honestly, I sort of have a bit of sympathy for Ruben Amorim. I'm going to shock people here. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but look, this is what Paul Scholes has said. The team doesn't take any risk. Sir Alex Ferguson would hate watching this. Everything that's been a part of Man United's DNA for years is out of the window. It's basically something that was going on since the Sir Matt Busby days. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't invent, risk-taking, exciting football. He just nurtured it. It's been going on at the club for decades and now it's out the window. They don't take risks. Nicky Butt said, look, Man United, they win 1-0 and it's like job done. If we'd won 1-0, it'd be not a very good result. We'd take the points. But it's like a big thing now if United just win a game. Paul Scholes said no risk. There's no entertainment. He spends most of his time on the phone. No idea what the plan is. Look, it's very, very damning. I know as fans that we're very demanding at Manchester United, but I do think this is becoming a little bit of a problem for him because I almost feel like we've probably changed the game in relation to the way that people talk about football nowadays. And I say you, the community, because and United Stand and everybody else that does it, because you got ex-players now who just see the world and what it's like and go, well, I'm going to have a bit of that. I'm not going to mess about. I don't like the way they're playing. I'm not entertained. This is not Manchester United. I'm just going to say it in a public forum on a podcast. Why wouldn't they? They've got every right to do it. But I do sort of think that we have to realise that Ruben Amorim, we don't have to realise, that's the whole point. I don't believe this is happening at a time where, if we beat Bournemouth and we get a result against Villa, we've got some winnable games, we're very, very close to top four. And at the start of the season, I have to say, I actually do agree about PRV, performance, result and vision. But at the start of the season, if somebody said fifth place, we would have took it. And whilst it's still there is a part of me that's just a little bit, is it going a little bit too far? I mean, I can't stop the way I feel and Paul Scholes can't stop the way he feels and Nicky Butt can't stop the way he feels, but it just seems it's a little bit all the time now. And I think United need to take a look at this because what you can't do is, that's my frustration really. I'm not frustrated with myself, I'm not frustrated with you, and I'm not frustrated with Nicky Butt or Paul Scholes or anybody else that's critical. I do think they should just say Amorim out, because I think they are Amorim out. I do. But then again, they'd say, well, aren't you Amorim out? And I'd say, I'm Amorim unconvinced, but I think that realistically, I do want to see better, but I do want to see him given the season. But where I think the club are failing is that, I saw the PR today about Dalot, and Andy Mitten was writing this, and it was like, a source at Manchester United has said, I'd be happy for Dalot to be my son. He really cares about the team. He's a real team player. He has the attributes and consistency to be a Manchester United player. And I'm like, well, he doesn't. This is exactly, I don't care about that. That doesn't bother me that you'd like him to be your son and have him round for Christmas dinner. I don't really care if he's a nice guy in the dressing room. The reality is, I've seen enough of him to know he is not a player that Real Madrid, Liverpool, Arsenal are looking at. So why Man United trying? It's just the PR all the time. And we've had it for the last month about Luke Shaw. These players are not going to take us where we need to be. And I think this is where I'm annoyed, because this is where United are not helping the situation. Amorim is under attack. He's under attack from me, he's under attack from ex-players, he's under attack from you, because the question is, what is the vision? What is the style of play? Very relevant points. And United are sort of like going, let's just hope. Let's just hope. But all they're actually doing is putting out positive PR about players that really are not going to save your bacon. They're not. Dalot's not going to turn into Hakimi, right? Luke Shaw's not going to turn into Maldini. They're not going to be those players. And I think this is where Amorim's being let down, because he's got so many things he needs to do, so many things he needs to be backed on, so many players he needs to help him out. And then the club are just doing constant PR, nothing. And probably all they're actually really doing is saying, Gary, Gary, could you have a word with Scholesy and tell him to stop being so negative? And it's like, that's not, you can't censor genuine opinion. And I mean, are you entertained? Is Nicky Butt right? Are we winning games now and just going, leave Amorim alone? He's winning games of football. I mean, I think Man United do need to entertain. I really do. So let me know your thoughts on that. But I think it is getting a little bit consistently, it's becoming very relevant to me that we are seeing Manchester United and Ruben Amorim criticised on a regular level, even if he's going to win games, because it's more than winning. It's about how we play. And I thought it was a very, very damning statement from Paul Scholes to say, what's the vision of play? Where's the risk? This is not Man United. I mean, effectively, it's not just Amorim, it's the state of the club. And that's the message I would say. We can talk about Amorim, but realistically, the people in charge don't know the club. They don't know the DNA. They don't. Omar Barada doesn't know the DNA of this football club, and you can't learn it. And I think it is important. And maybe we've missed that, but I do think it's important because I don't think you can just come in and go, I'm going to learn Man United's DNA. You either know it or you don't. And I don't think these people do. But there is still time. Hopefully there is still time. Talking of time, just to give you a little bit of news. So we've also got Fabrizio Romano talking about Mainu and Xerxes. I know. I don't come away for a couple of days just to talk about Mainu and Xerxes, but he has been talking about it. He's basically saying there's a lot of interest, but it's up to Manchester United to decide whether they want to do something about it. Now, again, beyond Ruben Amorim, I think he's made it very, very clear that don't do that with your finger. That's rubbish. You've covered up half of the screen. Beyond what we're talking about, Mainu and Xerxes, beyond Ruben Amorim, why are Man United basically saying, I don't really know what we're going to do. I don't really know what we're going to do on this. Do we want to keep him? Do we want to sell him? Apparently, Romano is saying that there's so many clubs that are interested in these players, but it's up to Man United to decide what they want to do. I mean, what football club behaves like that? What football club that's got 2 bench players that loads of people want in January doesn't go, well, there's 2 opportunities there to move 2 players on and improve the squad? And this, again, is not acceptable, because when you look at it, you've got 2 players who probably would go if we told them to go, who have lots of options, who would go, we'd get money, and then we'd replace them. But what United are doing, as per normal, and this doesn't help Amorim, is going, bit difficult though, isn't it? Don't really want to do it in January, if we're being honest. We'd rather wait till the summer, even though it makes no sense. Even though it would help Amorim to actually replace 2 players that he doesn't want to use for players that he does want to use, even though it would help the players to go and, maybe on loan and, perform, or even, get some money in. Nah, let's wait. And that's United. This is what I mean. Let's just wait. Amorim's under fire from ex-players and the fans because he's not playing good football and nobody really knows what he's on about. Let's just wait and see. Let's put a PR piece out about Dalot and say someone would like him to be his son, and he's exactly the right sort of player that Man United want when his biggest strength is throwing things. Dalot, we're just doing your monthly review. You've put here as strengths, throwing things. Anything else? Lots of people would like me to come around for Christmas and be their son. It's take away long throws from Dalot, and is he just a Portuguese Marcus Albrighton, or is he even that? Is he even that? But no, look, I think in relation to Mainu and Xerxes, it balls the tits off me, but there is opportunities there that Manchester United need to be looking at. I don't think to be honest, you might want to get rid of a couple of players and nobody actually wants them. We actually have players here that people want, and I think you've got to look at that and go, well, look, who wants them? What can we do? I'm still, massively optimistic that we could do something around Conor Gallagher, and I know you're not going to like that. And we spoke about Siddiqui yesterday, but that's not going to happen until at least the summer. But I think with Conor Gallagher, I'm still hopeful that something can happen with that, because to me, as much as I like Mainu, Amorim doesn't. I just think it's so logical. If I was in charge of that football club, and hey, I'm sure a lot of you do a better job as well. If I was in charge of that football club, I'd be like, Mainu's value is plummeting, like the Titanic. And if I get him out on loan in January, like Rashford, like Anthony, I can get his price up for the summer where we'd probably sell him if Amorim stays. Why would you keep him on the bench and watch his value drop? So you get him out, if I'm an owner or a CEO, and you bring in a player that can do, that Amorim likes, that he's going to use more than Mainu. I mean, look, I think United is just so crap at what they do. They basically think, how can we basically, keep this in-house and just protect everybody. But actually, as a responsible owner, you can go, he's not using Manu. We have different jobs to the manager. We need to protect our asset. He's going to be better off going out on loan. And if he goes out on loan, his value goes up in the summer, and we can bring a player in that Ruben Amorim actually wants to use. I mean, it's just logical, absolutely logical. So hopefully that happens. With Xerxes, I'm not so sure what we do with that. Did you hear what Amorim said about Semenyo? He said he's a special player who plays on both sides. That's nothing to do with his personal life, by the way. That's just, he's talking about he can play on the right and the left-hand side. And I think that would be, you know, a huge positive for Manchester United. I think that, as I said yesterday, I think some people think I don't like Semenyo. I do. I think he'd be a very good signing for Manchester United, but I don't know that, you know, do you do that deal? Can we do that deal? No. I don't think the club have the money. And I've just realised there's a bit of rumbling going on here. Hot tub, boy, hot tub. No, that's not me again. I'm not saying get in the hot tub, boy, or anything like that. I'm saying it's a hot. It's like a hot tub time machine. Good film. Boys in the hot tub, go back in a time machine. Good film. But no, I think in relation to Semenyo, Amorim would love him. Don't do that angle. It looks like I've got 4 chins. It will come to you all. It's called tech neck. Basically, spend a lot of time on your phone doing that. It makes your skin loose. Nothing I can do at my age, but if you're in your teens or your 20s, start looking at your phone like that. People will laugh at you, but you won't have a stretchy neck in your 40s. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I was talking about Semenyo and Semenyo Sada. No, I was talking about Semenyo and how Amorim was saying he's a special player. Look, if Man United went and bought Semenyo, who's going to have a moan? I'm not going to have a bloody moan, but we're not going to do it. But I think Amorim would like to do it. About the injuries, I think people were overreacting. I'm more interested in the AFCON. Like, I can't believe that he said about the AFCON that he doesn't know at the moment whether we've got Ahmad, Mbeumo and Mazraoui for Monday. What I was told this morning, and I got a message, was that they will play on Monday. That would be shocking if they don't play on Monday because everybody else is playing this weekend and then going to the AFCON. So I think they will play, but no De Ligt, no Sesko, no Maguire. I haven't really got a massive problem with that because I don't think they would have started anyway. So, and I don't think any of them are particularly long-term. I think Sesko's just about ready to be back. I think he had some, as Terry said, he might have had the Old Trafford chicken because he's had a bit of a funny tummy. De Ligt's is a minor thing, and Maguire's I think Maguire was always Villa, so should be fine on that one. Yeah, and that's pretty much where we are at the moment. But give me your thoughts. You know, you've got Delo, the person. There's a source at the club who'd like to adopt him. Very consistent team player. I mean, ultimately, I don't think we can be that football club. I think sometimes we're too PR led, and I think sometimes it needs calling out. Like, we have a manager that, you know, isn't setting the world on fire. He's very results driven and he's surviving on results. Let's stop chucking PR out there and let's actually start doing some business, because the only way that this manager is going to survive is if you give him players that allow him to play the style of football that gets these ex-players on side, that gets us on side. And, you know, we don't live in a world now where you can manipulate people with PR, but Man United still think they can. I mean, I'm not bloody stupid. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen a massive amount of positivity about Luke Shaw, and now we're seeing it from Delo. And that's just Man United doing their old trick, saying, hey, Andy, you know, The Athletic, can you write something positive about Delo or Shaw and we'll give you something in return? United have worked like that for years. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, taking that information and putting it out there. Why wouldn't you? That's what journalists are for. But I think it's almost like United. They're a big open wound and they're like, look over there, our leg's hanging off. Look over there, look at the flowers. Aren't the flowers nice? You're bleeding. Don't worry. Look over there. Deal with the, you know, triage, you know, deal with the injury. And I think United are just, it's scary that they don't deal with it, because are they distracting because they know they can't deal with it, or are they distracting because they're incompetent? And either one of those things, I think, you know, is worth discussing. But look, Paul Scholes is not wrong. PRV, performance, results, vision. There is no performance, there is no vision, but we are getting results. So if somebody says they're not taking risks, they've lost the DNA, there's nobody at the club who knows the DNA, it's not entertaining, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think Man United need to start listening. I'm not saying people need to stop saying it. I'm not saying Paul Scholes is wrong. What I'm saying is it's very damning. It's very damning and it's happening a lot. And ex-players are speaking a lot more freely than they ever used to. And, you know, they're basically saying that United are in a mess. And it's happening every week. And they've got a podcast every week. So they're going to keep saying it. So Man United can't keep covering it up. And I can't believe they actually are. I can't believe they're constantly putting out spin stories. You need to understand what Man United's all about. So you need to get people in who understand it, and you need to support this manager, or you're going to have to change it, because results clearly aren't going to be enough. Winning games 1-0 ain't going to be enough. You know, if you want to be the best, you're going to have to play the best. And at the moment, I think we're all entitled to say, why is it not happening? Anyway, my arm's absolutely killing because I didn't bring my normal stand. So I'm just moving around, holding it like that, and it's getting tired. And also, I think there's a bottle of scotch calling me saying, Mark, let's spend the evening together with a nice big roast joint, which is not drugs. I'm talking about beef and a bottle of scotch. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video if you like a little bit of, I know you do. I know you like it when I'm on tour a little bit. So make sure you smash a like. Might be doing a live one tomorrow. We'll see. Take care. See you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Also, That's Football. I'm doing match reactions all weekend, probably like this. So make sure you get yourself over to That's Football, because hopefully we'll get some good results this weekend. I'd love to see Everton stop Chelsea, Brighton stop Liverpool, Palace stop Man City. It'd be great to see some of that, but I guarantee all of them are going to win now. Take care, legends. I'll speak to you soon.